Hello and welcome to NHK Newsline. I'm Kate Sagan. We start with the situation in Ukraine. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says his country will host an international meeting of military officials in Washington to move forward with what he calls practical plans to support Ukraine's future success. Starmer has already hosted a preliminary video conference with 20 countries. It brought together Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and leaders of European nations, as well as Canada, Australia, and NATO. Starmer issued a statement referring to what he called the current video and delay of a 30-day ceasefire proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump administration. Starmer said in the video conference he will agree to continue pressure on Russia.
We agreed we will keep increasing the pressure on Russia, keep the military aid flowing to Ukraine, and keep tightening restrictions on Russian to weaken Putin's war machine and bring him to the table.
The Prime Minister also commented on a campaign led by Britain and France to form a coalition of the willing that will deploy peacekeepers in Ukraine after a ceasefire is implemented. Starmer says these commitments are first on the table. But the proposed deployment hinges on security guarantees from the U.S. and it remains to be seen how much cooperation Washington is willing to provide. Russia strongly opposes the plan. Japan's Prime Minister Issoudun has agreed to support for the ongoing diplomatic efforts to achieve a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Issoudun sent a written message to the online leader summit on Ukraine hosted by the UK government. In his message, Ishiba said that Japan can never tolerate unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force, like Russia deflection against Ukraine anywhere in the world. Ishiba also said that peace to be achieved in Ukraine can impact not only Europe, but also global security, including the Indo-Pacific region. The Prime Minister stressed we must work together to ensure that the situation does not lead to the creation of the wrong precedent. He called for continued involvement from the U.S. Ishiba also promised that Japan will help strengthen Ukraine's economic and social resilience through a public-private partnership assistance from a medium to long-term perspective. It remains unclear if Russia will accept the ceasefire deal proposed by the United States. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha spoke with NHK in an exclusive interview in Kyiv on Saturday. He said U.S. President Trump's administration needs to put pressure on Russia so that it accepts Washington's proposal for a 30-day pause in country.
Ukraine wants to end the war this year, and Ukraine is not capable of this. Putin wants war. So we now war is looking for the answer, for the response from the Russian side.
The minister also revealed the Ukrainian national council not preparing a roadmap to a ceasefire.
The main task is plan, a roadmap, how to arrange, how to organize this monitoring, including from the military point of view. Such a long front line, more than 1,300 kilometers.
Today added Ukraine will consult with the U.S. and other countries that it may need international personnel to help monitor a ceasefire. On the relationship with Tokyo, the foreign minister described Japan as a true leader. He expressed hope for Tokyo's support for this reconstruction.
You see, for us, Japan is the closest ally, is the closest partner in Asia. So we do really appreciate and count on your support, and also this reconstruction is also an opportunity for the Japanese country.
Winds and tornadoes have left at least 18 people dead in the Midwest and south of the United States. The violent weather ravaged wide areas, including parts of Missouri, Texas, and Arkansas on Sunday through Saturday, destroying buildings and causing traffic accidents. ABC TV reported 18 deaths in the 3 states and dozens were injured. Reports say the winds also fanned wildfires in multiple locations, prompting evacuation orders in Oklahoma. Power outages reportedly occurred in 5 states. Weather officials are forecasting more tornadoes for the southern states of Florida and Georgia. They're calling on people to remain on the alert against tornadoes, strong winds, and possible flooding due to torrential rain in some areas. The U.S. military says the number 2 leader of the Islamic State militant group has been killed in an airstrike in western Iraq. The U.S. Central Command announced on Friday that Abdullah al-Rifai, also known as Abdul Khadija, and another ISIS operative. It said U.S. forces carried out the strike in Iraq's Anbar province in cooperation with the country's intelligence and security personnel. U.S. President Trump also disclosed the news on social media on Friday. He wrote, the Central Command said the ISIS leader had maintained responsibility for the group's global operations, finances, logistics, and planning. ISIS had proclaimed a caliphate in regions straddling large parts of Syria and Iraq in 2014, but it lost most of the territory due to military operations by the U.S. and other forces. However, analysts warn the group could resurge by exploiting the turmoil in Syria following the fall of President Bashar al-Assad's administration late last year. The U.S. sudden collapse has provided ISIS an opportunity to defeat from Syrian military bases. Supporters of former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte have faced hate of the confirmation following his arrest and transportation to the International Criminal Court. Duterte is accused of being responsible for multiple killings amounting to a crime against humanity with his weapons of illegal drugs. His pre-trial hearing began on Friday at the court in the Netherlands. On Saturday, more than 1,000 people gathered in Mura for a rally held by his party and relatives in support of the former president. The government bring Duterte home, saying his arrest and transportation are unjust. They said his crackdown helped improve security in the Philippines. Organizers of the protest say rallies were held at 18 locations across the country. Indicating that the government is President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is on the alert. And those were the stories for this hour. The last of this edition of NHK Newsline.
Short stories and narrative essays from Japan with the world. In light and witty strokes, the story depicts the drama caused by Buddha Shakyamuni's impulsive whim after he peers into hell. Written by Akutagawa Ryunosuke, one of Japan's leading modern literary authors. His works question human foolishness and the meaning of life, and have been read by many people over the decades. His masterpiece, Love Life, was adapted to film by Kurosawa Akira in the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival.
The Spider's Thread from Akutagawa Ryunosuke. One day, the Buddha, Shakyamuni, was cruising along in paradise along the banks of the lotus pond. The blossoms on the path were only a fabric flame, and an indescribably wonderful fragrance wafted forth endlessly from the golden centers, filling the air. It must have been morning in paradise. Presently, Shakyamuni was standing at the pond's edge, when he happened to look down through the lotus leaves covering the surface of the water to catch a glimpse of what was going on below. Directly under the lotus pond of paradise lay the bottommost depths of hell. Gazing down into the crystal clear water, as if he were peering through an aquascope, he could see coming into focus the river of three crossings and creating water. Just then, his eyes came to rest on a man named Kangata, who was rising about with all the other sinners at the bottom of hell. This man, Kangata, was a notorious robber who killed people, set fire to homes, and committed various other evil acts. But even he had one good deed to his name. Along the edge of the path. Reflexively, he looked at his foot, but then thought to himself, no, even this teeny thing is a living creature. To take its life so thoughtlessly would be too cruel. And so, he left the spider path unharmed. As Shakyamuni gazed down into hell, he remembered how Kangata had killed the spider. And as a reward for having done such a good deed, he thought that he would deliver this man from hell, if possible. He looked around, and as luck would have it, there, atop a jade-colored lotus leaf, was a spider of paradise, spinning a beautiful silver thread. He gently took up the spider's thread in his hand and lowered it straight down through the pearl-like lotus blossoms to the depths of hell far below. Meanwhile, down in hell, Kangata was struggling to stay afloat in the pool of blood along with all the other sinners. Wherever he looked, it was pitch black. Once in a while, He saw something emerging from the darkness, only to realize it was the glimpse of a needle on dreaded Needle Mountain. He felt a sense of overpowering doom. What's more, all was as silent as a tomb, and the only sound that could be heard was the occasional feeble sigh of a sinner. It must have been the first silent inside, and been so beaten down by the sound of the many other sounds that he no longer had the strength to cry out. And so, even the notorious robber Kandata could do nothing but thrash about wildly like a dying frog as he choked on the pool of blood. But then, one day, he happened to look up into the sky above the pool. There, he saw a silver spider's thread emerge from the distant heavens discreetly, and this is how a thread is being seen. The gleaming strand slipped down through the still darkness, and down, down, until it was hanging right over him. Seeing this, Kandata clapped his hands forward. If he could grab hold of the thread and climb up to wherever it led, he might be able to get out of hell. And if he was lucky, maybe he could even enter paradise. No longer would he have to suffer and driven up through a mountain or plunged down into the pool of blood. And with that, Kandata quickly grasped the spider's thread with both hands and started to climb upward with all his might. Having been a notorious robber, over the years he had had countless captures in this sort of place. But hell and paradise are just a 1,000 degrees apart, and so it was no easy path to reach the top, no matter how quickly he tried. After climbing for a while, he began to tire, until he found himself unable to lift his arms any longer. Left with no choice but to stop and take a short rest, he clung to the thread and looked down far below. The pool of blood from which he come was now hidden in the abyss. The dull glow of dreaded Needle Mountain was likewise far beneath his feet. At this place, Kandata wrapped both hands around the spider's thread and laughed like he hadn't laughed in all the years since he'd come to this place. Yes! I'm out of here! But then, he noticed that countless other spiders came up the spider's thread, clambering upwards with everything they had, like a column of ants. The sight took Kandata aback and struck him with fear, and for a moment he hung there like a fool, his mouth agape, his eyes darting back and forth. The spider's thread seemed so delicate that it might break under his weight alone. How could it possibly withstand the weight of so many? If it were to break in the middle of their climb, they would all plummet back down to the path from which they were attempting to escape, including Kandata himself, who worked so hard to come this far. What a disaster that would be. But even so, he could see hundreds, no thousands of sinners swarming up from the pitch-black pool of blood, eagerly climbing the gleaming spider's thread, single file. If he didn't do something right now, the thread would break in two, and he would fall. So Kandata yelled at them. "Listen here, you sinners. This spider's thread is mine. Who said you could climb it? Get off! I said get off!" Just then, the thread, which had been completely fine up until that point, suddenly snapped right at the place where Kandata was hanging from it. He didn't stand a chance. Before he knew it, he was falling, slicing through the air, spinning around like a top, plunging headfirst into the abyss. All that remained in his wake was the dangling short ends of the spider's thread from paradise, glimmering faintly in the moonless, starless sky. Up in paradise, the Buddha Shakyamuni watched the entire scene unfold from the edge of the landscape. The Kandata sank like a stone to the bottom of the pool of blood. He resumed his stroll with a tinge of sadness upon his face. Kandata's heartless attempt to save only himself had sent him tumbling back down into hell. Just punishment for his lack of compassion. Pitiable indeed he must have seemed in the eyes of Shakyamuni. But the lotuses on the lotus pond of paradise were undisturbed by such goings-on. As Shakyamuni walked by, the pearl-white blossoms gently swayed their green sepals at his feet, and an indescribably wonderful fragrance wafted forth endlessly from their golden centers, filling the air. It must have been close to noon in paradise.
Now we'd like to leave you with some music. 2月はビニール傘の中, or February is in the plastic umbrella by Eastern Youth.
is NHK World Japan English Radio Service. Here's a frequency notice. The broadcast at 5 hours UTC from Monday through Sunday for Southern Africa is on 11.735 MHz. Once again, 11.735 MHz. The broadcast at 14 hours UTC from Southeast Asia is on 11.815 MHz. Once again, 11.815 MHz. For more details of our broadcast schedule and the latest news, please check our website at nhk.kc/rj. nhk.kc/rj. Your